Hello, and welcome to the CellCraft tutorial. In this tutorial, we will walk through how to run Tenet, one of the core analysis tools built into CellCraft. Typically, before running plugins in CellCraft, you need to go through a data preparation process. You can follow the steps outlined at the bottom of the main page to properly prepare your data. However, for this tutorial, we will use the default dataset provided by CellCraft. The Datasets page provides a dataset consisting of an H5 add file that contains a 1000 by 32,738 matrix of cells by genes, along with a gene list and a human TF file. Let's download all these files. Next, navigate to the Files page and upload each of the downloaded files one by one. Only H5AD, CSV, and TXT files can be uploaded. Once the files are uploaded to the Files page, users can use them in their workflows and also delete them if needed. On the Plugins page, you can view the default plugins available in CellCraft. Here you can check how each plugin is structured and review the steps involved in their execution. A more detailed explanation of plugins will be covered in a separate tutorial. Let's navigate to the Workflows page. On the Workflows page, you can create workflow projects to run plugins. For this tutorial, we will select Tenet and create a new workflow. Once the workflow is created, you will see that multiple nodes have already been set up according to the selected algorithm. First, let's rename the workflow title. After changing the title, click the Save button in the control bar below to save it. Now our task is to configure the nodes one by one. For the input file node, apply the files we uploaded earlier in the Files page. This completes the file setup for the analysis. Let's configure the remaining input file nodes. The H5add and CSV files applied in the input file node can be reviewed in the data table node. In the scatter plot node, you can explore the data and select specific columns to visualize. You can interactively explore the data using various buttons and controls. You can also use the Lasso Select tool to define a specific region of data for analysis. Next, in the algorithm node, you can configure the execution parameters for the selected plugin. Start by setting up the Tenet input as needed and defining the parameters for each step. Since the parameters are already set to default values, we will proceed without making any changes. For optional inputs and plugin inputs, you should select and specify them directly. You can see that the input file and result file nodes connected to the algorithm node ensure the necessary dependencies for executing the plugin are properly validated. Once everything is configured, click the Run button in the control bar. Before execution, you will be able to review the task details and system resource information for the workflow. Finally, click the Execute button to run the workflow. You can monitor the task progress by clicking the Monitoring Panel button in the control bar to check the current status of the running task. After checking the monitoring panel, we can see that the previously executed task has changed its status to success. Right-click on a task to access various functions. The View Logs feature allows you to view and download the log files of the scripts executed by the task. The View Progress feature visualizes the steps of the task, allowing you to check its status and information. The Download Manifest feature allows you to download a JSON file containing all execution information for that task. Now let's review the results. First, in the Result File node, you can check the generated result files and download them if needed. Generated files are divided into primary outputs and intermediate outputs. You can select files to download or set up. You must select the files to use for visualization analysis and set up them before they can be used in the visualization node. Now let's run the visualization using the visualization node. First, you need to select the visualization plugin and the type of visualization to use. You can configure the input file and parameters. For heat map, you can configure input files such as expression and trajectory. It is recommended to select the expression .csv and trajectory.txt files output as intermediate outputs. And the input file named input is selectable in all visualizations. It is recommended to choose it from the primary outputs. Once the visualization is complete, the button changes to the text Show Visualization, allowing you to view the visualization. Now let's try running another visualization. Clicking the Change Visualization button returns you to the UI for selecting the visualization type. Set up the input file and click the Visualize button to visualize it. After visualization is complete, you can interactively explore the data using features supported by Plotly and download images. Let's compare visualizations by changing the parameters. You can also visualize and compare multiple parameters and inputs using this method. Results executed in the visualization node can also be viewed as tasks in the task monitoring panel, and logs can be checked using the View Logs feature. If an error occurs or you wish to review logs generated by a task, we recommend using this feature. This concludes the tutorial. Thank you for watching.